What is up, everybody, and welcome to Tony's Corner, a Great Girth segment. I'm your host, Tony, and we're talking the found footage Fright Fest House LLC from 2015. If you've never heard of it, it's the story of a ragtag crew turning an abandoned hotel into a Halloween haunt, only for the real monsters to RSVP with a body count. Directed by Stephen Cognetti, this low-budget gem punched way above its weight class, spawning a franchise that's basically like The Conjuring meets the Blair Witch Project on a shoestring and prayer budget, if you will. We're talking like 15 deaths on opening night, clown dolls that move when you're not looking, and enough creeping dread to make you uncomfortable. But grab your popcorn, your holy water, and maybe a beer. Let's roll the tape. Okay, team. No spoilers yet. But imagine this. It's 2009, upstate New York. A scrappy group of haunt entrepreneurs led by businessman Solely Alex, played by Ryan Jennifer Jones. He decides to level up their seasonal gig. They've done corn mazes, ghost trains, you know the works. But this year, they're renting a hotel. So who's the crew? You got Alex's girlfriend, Sarah, played by Shannon Hartman, bringing that like quiet desperation vibe. And then you got jokester cameraman Paul by Gore Abrams, who's equal parts funny and sleazy in a way. Think The Office's Dwight if he discovered OnlyFans. There's laid-back lightning guy Tony, played by Danny Bellini, I believe is his name. I hope I said his name right. And then there's the skeptical muscle Mac, played by Jared Hacker. He's built like a haunted house prop himself. They all in fog machines, strobe lights, and enough rubber masks to make you believe that this is a real haunted attraction. The goal? Create House LLC, New York's scariest attraction. Tagline: enter if you dare, leave if you can. Cut to 5 years later, a doc crew, led by no-nonsense reporter Diane, which is played by Alice Bach, I believe is her name. She's piecing together what happened on opening night. I probably looked her name up. You got 15 dead tourists and staff, no survivors from the core team, just grainy footage, survivor interviews, and a hotel that's now a no-go zone. Faster than Chernobyl on Yelp, dude. First impressions, this ain't your Paranormal Activity jump scare porn. It's slow burn found footage done right. Think Wreck, but with American grit and zero Hollywood gloss. Budget, peanuts, like I mentioned. Runtime, a tight 93 minutes that feels like a marathon in the dark. Cognetti shoots it like he's smuggling the camera himself. We're talking shaky cams, bad lighting, real locations, eerie as hell. But dude, this house has nothing but bad decisions written all over it. So what hooks you? It's the authenticity for sure. These aren't actors. They're exhausted roadies bickering over extension cords, dude. Paul's like pervy jokes. They land awkward laughs amid all the tension. And then there's the scares. Subtle. You know, the shadows that linger too long, a clown doll tilting its head just off camera. By the time the chaos hits you, you're invested, like watching your dumb cousins build a treehouse that you know is going to collapse on them. Pause. If you haven't seen House LLC, please pause this episode, stream it on Shudder or Amazon. It's cheap. Probably as cheap as like a gas station hot dog. What are they these days, like $4 or $5.99? Okay, maybe it's $6.99. Now, we're going to be gutting this pig. If you came back, we're definitely gutting this pig. All right. Hopefully you've been warned, and you know that we are now in spoiler territory. Tape's rolling. The doc opens with Diane's crew grilling locals. Suicides in the 80s, whispers of cults, and then Sarah shows up, hollow-eyed, handing over the lost footage. She's the lone survivor, but here's the gut punch twist. We'll save that for later. Is she alive? Flashback to setup week. The crew arrives at the hotel. It's dusty, clearly not a place to just be chilling, with a basement that smells like regret and wet cardboard. Alex is all business, dude. This place is gold. Tour groups will eat it up. That's what he says. They rig rooms, dude. A strobe-lit hallway with hooded figures. Creepy as shit, by the way. A bar with zombie extras. And the basement lair. We're talking chains, fog, Melissa, played by Lauren Kennedy, chained up as bait. First red flag, though, anomalies, right? Paul's night vision catches a clown mannequin moving its head when it really shouldn't. Tony swears he hears whispers. I mean, they hired Joey, played by Mark Hennessy, a sketchy gas station clown with a grin like the Joker's reject twin, to quote-unquote guard the basement. Tensions simmer. Paul's harassing Melissa, Tony's cracking wise to cope with everything, and then Sarah's filming vlogs. All smiles for the gram, if you know what I'm saying. Then the real weird shit happens. Extra props appear, a faceless figure is in the corner, batteries die in locked rooms, and that fucking clown dude, it winks. Now let's talk opening night. Tours flood in. Footage from guest phones shows pandemonium, screams, strobes flickering, wild hooded actors going rogue. Downstairs now, hell breaks loose, dude. You got Joey bolting with his nose on fire. Like, he's terrified, dude. Melissa's dangling, and then cut to black. Implied off-screen horror, right? Something drags her into the shadows. The crew converges. Paul's yelling, Max swinging a prop axe, Alex is barking orders, and then the massacre hits. Tourists impaled on spikes that weren't rigged right. Staff vanishing mid-scream. Bodies just piling up, dude. 15 total, including the entire team. Post-tragedy. Cops still decide, dude. Photos show handprints on the walls that weren't there. Interviews with, like, scared survivors are going off. The clowns, they weren't ours. Sarah's tell, she hid in the closet. Heard the laughing, but, here's the kicker, dude. The footage ends with a post-credits stinger. News report that Sarah died months earlier. The tapes delivered by who? Was it a ghost? Was it a demon? Was it a plot hole? Or is that just genius filmmaking? You decide. And now time for BS themes. Every movie has one. We got Greed versus Supernatural. These folks ignored signs for profit, dude. It's like fracking in a fault line, dude. Not just haunted. It's a portal. Clowns as demons. That's chef's kiss right there. This film's genius is what it doesn't show you. Your brain fills the basement bloodbath. Shifting gears. No more plot guts. Let's talk the talent behind the terror. So you got director-writer Stephen Cognetti, right? He's indie horror's like unsung hero. This was his first feature debut, by the way, shot in 18 days on like a micro budget, under 100K. So he nails found footage without the nausea, dude. Like steady cams when it counts, chaos for climax. Dude, fun fact, he self-distributed via Terror Films after festivals ignored it. And then guess what? A whole franchise ended up following right behind. Let's talk the cast. You got non-union pros, mostly theater vets. Ryan Jennifer Jones as Alex owns the screen. Straight intensity like a haunting Tom Hardy. There you go. Then Shannon Hartman, Sarah, she sells the trauma. Her I'm fine cracks are just gold. Gore Abrams, Paul, dude, MVP for comic relief. Yeah, it's pervy, but it humanizes the horror. Now, Danny's Tony, everyman charm. You'd grab a beer with him pre-haunt. Jared Hacker as Mac is the straight man foil, dude. Skepticism makes his freak out hit him harder. And then Lauren Kennedy as Melissa. It's a short role, but it's a big impact, dude. Her screams do linger. Now, crew shoutouts, of course. You got producer Joe Bendelli, also in the sequels as a clown. That's some meta right there. And then the score by Larry Hopkins. Never heard of this person, but it's minimalist synths that crawl under your skin. And it works. No CGI, dude. Practical effects, they fucking roll. From moving dummies to fog-choked halls, dude, we're talking, it's a blast, dude. It really feels like something that you would walk through, but it touches on that legit fear. You are afraid that this is something that most people, I'd say, are afraid of, going into a haunted house and something horrible actually fucking happens. That's a legitimate fear. But I've been talking too much on that aspect. Let's talk about the fun-sized nuggets, as I like to call them. Yeah, that's trivia, basically, right? There's some trivia on this. Every movie's got trivia. What is the trivia that makes Hell House more than just a one-night stand? There we go. Well, did you know that clown doll was inspired by real killer clown sightings in 2016? You guys know what I'm talking about. The basement chains, that's a nod to Saw, but no traps, just abandonment. The handprints, like the photo, that's a real anomaly from the shoot, apparently. Very unexplained. Production lore, though, that was shot in October of 2014, right before Halloween. The crew dealt with actual raccoons in the basement. That's their haunting. This real-life hotel is a fan's pilgrimage site. Illegally, of course. But let's get back to the meat. Why does this girth so hard in your nightmares? Well, let's break down the scares. No gore fest. It's atmospheric dread, dude. The top moments are a clown head tilt, purely uncanny. Strobe room silhouettes. Dude, your eyes play tricks on you. That basement descent is claustrophobia cranked up, dude. The jump scares are pretty minimal, but they're earned, dude. Like, they actually work for this. It's not ridiculous. And compared to other movies, honestly, Grave Encounters, it's better than that. It's not as good as Above, So Below, but you get what I mean. What are the weaknesses? Well, the pacing dips in setup. I'm not going to lie about that. The ending does frustrate a lot of people. Not me. I think it's perfect. The sound design gets stale as very quick. So what's the verdict? I will say, for being a found footage gem, this film is definitely worth checking out on streaming. I really enjoyed it. This was one of those that I intentionally avoided it back when it came out. Because, dude, this was when... I think this was probably when I first, I had first gotten into Shudder, and back then Shudder didn't have a lot to offer. That's where I ended up watching it. But back then Shudder didn't have a lot to offer, and I had heard rumblings about it, but I had also heard stay the fuck away from it. So that's what I chose to do. That being said, though, I'm glad I watched it. I watched it recently, and dude, I was like, you know what? I can't wait to tell you guys about this movie. This movie is worth your time, dude. From the special effects to the cheesy but comfortable acting, dude, it's found footage heaven. And if you don't like found footage films, this is actually a good place for you to start. It is not weird at all. The shaky cam isn't all that amazing, but it's not terrible either. A lot of the, complaints you would get from like a Blair Witch Project is the shaky cam. Well, this is Blair Witch Project without the shaky cam. I actually like how professionally polished it feels for being a peanut-sized movie, if you know what I'm saying. But thank you guys for watching. I am Tony. This was Tony's Corner, a Great Girth segment. Please be sure to hit that like button. Please subscribe. Oh, and check out the Great Girth podcast if you like political stuff, spicy stuff. If not, then stay right here with me on Tony's Corner because we are going to be reviewing some more films as well as trailer reactions. Dude, a lot of new movies coming up that we will be talking about soon. In the meantime, be sure to always stay rad.